Hi everybody, it's Catherine from In the Pink Designs. My project today uses the Count on Me stamp set, and I'm using the little penguin with the balloon. That's so cute. This is a double box that folds, and I got my inspiration from this pack of gum I got, and it opens like this, so it folds over and then it opens up to two parts. Alrighty, so that's how I designed this one, and I put a little piece of some Velcro dots down here. Now this holds 2 Reese's peanut butter cups, but it will also hold Skittles and the M&Ms, all the fun packs that you can kind of fold the edges in. So it'll hold 2 pieces of candy, or if you have anything small like this that you can put in, it doesn't have to hold candy. Right, and it closes like that, and then the lid just slips behind the embellishment on the front. As I said, I used Count on Me stamp set. I used the Tasteful Label dies for these 2 pieces here. I used the Hydrangea Haven stamp set for the sentiment and the dies for this little tag up here. And the purple, the fresh Freesia gingham paper is from the Pansy Petals Designer Series paper. Alrighty, let me tell you what we need. We need a piece of fresh Freesia that is 8 5/8 by 6 1/2. We need 2 of the labels from Tasteful Label dies. This one in fresh Freesia, and this one I use the Pale Papaya in color from the In Color DSP, the 6x6. I got this little label in the same DSP from the Hydrangea dies. Okay, and then we need a whole bunch of this DSP from the Pansy Petals. You need 2 pieces that are 2 3/4 by 2. 2 pieces that are 7/8 by 2 3/4. And 4 pieces that are 2 inches by 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so that's all the little pieces that we need. All right, so we're gonna get our Simply Scored. Okay, so we're gonna start on the 8 5/8 side, and we're going to score at 1, 1 1/2, 3 3/4, 4 7/8, 7 1/8, and 7 5/8. Okay, and we're going to turn it to the 6 1/2 inch side, and we're going to score at 1, 1 1/2, 4 1/2, and 5 1/2. Okie doke. Now I'm just going to fold and burnish. Okay, so this side and this side of the landscape side are the same. Okay, so we want to put this in landscape with, let's see, we're going to put it in landscape, and we're going to put at the bottom the one that has a 1-inch rectangle going this way, and then the skinny rectangle up next. This one has 2 1-inch ones at the top. Okay, so we want the 1-inch and the 1/2 inch one at the bottom. And this is what we're going to do. Now this is a little bit more complicated than I usually do, but it's really not too bad if you go step by step. All right, I am going to, after I finish cutting out the fresh Freesia, I'm going to take a picture and I'll put that on my blog. I don't know if that's helpful, but it's something the last 2 videos I started to do. Maybe it helps out a little bit. All right, so put that right there so I can see it. So we're going to start on the lower left-hand corner. Okay, now what we want to do is take out this square and this rectangle. Okay, so we're just going to cut them straight up so it's past the first score line to the second score line, and take those 2 pieces off. Okay, so that's what I did here. Alrighty. Now, we're going to take this rectangle off, and then we're going to wedge this square here into a tab. So we're going to cut straight from past this rectangle all the way up to the second score line. Okay, and then we want to take off this lower piece here. All right, and then we're just going to take a little small wedge out of the sides of that square to make a tab. Okay, so that's what we have now. All right, now this piece we're going to leave alone. It's a bigger rectangle and then the smaller rectangle. So we want both sides of that straight. Okay, we're going to take out this square and this rectangle, and this piece here we're going to leave alone too. So we're going to cut that straight, and then we want to take off these two pieces in the middle. So I'm just going to fold down the pieces next to it so that I can just clip off this easily. Okay, so now that's what we did. Okay, I'm not cutting these very sharply. All right, so now we're going to move to the other side of these two rectangles here, and we're going to cut that side of it straight. Okay, and then we have this rectangle and a square. We're going to remove the rectangle and wedge the square just like we did right here. And then we're just going to take off these two pieces also. Okay. Okay, so now that's what we did on the bottom. Okay, now we're going to switch it around, staying in landscape, to the other side. And all we're going to do is we're going to keep this piece and this piece, and we're getting rid of everything else. All right, so start in the lower right hand corner. There's two squares and two rectangles. We're going to take them out. Okay, so we took care of everything there. And then we're going to keep this piece of the two 1-inch rectangles. So we want that piece to be straight on the side. And then we're taking everything else off up to the second score line. Okay, so it should match, and it does. Okay, now we need the detail trio punch or the corner rounder, whatever you've got, and let's move it so that our flap is at the top. Okay, this is our top flap, and we're going to round the corners of both of those. Okay. Now the only other thing we're going to round are these two corners. This is the middle, this part of our box, that's the closer. We're just going to round the inside of these two. Looks like flaps at the bottom. Yes. Okay, and that's our finished piece. First, we're going to do some tear and tape, and then we're going to use some liquid glue. So I'm going to put tear and tape. Now this box closes like this, okay? So I want to put tear and tape on those little tabs on the outside of it. So I'm just going to put one piece down the middle of each. All right, and what we want to do is we want to take the top of this, or the bottom of this right here, this line above the rectangle. All right, what we want to do is take this part of the square that we wedged and make it straight with this part right here of the skinny rectangle that's on the bottom there. Okay, and we're going to do that on both sides. Okay, so that's what you're left with right now. Okay, and now these are going to fold in like that. Okay, and these are going to fold in to meet them. So we just have to make sure that this line here is straight with this line. And I'm going to use liquid glue for this, so that we can maneuver it a little if we have to. I just put the liquid glue on the tab up to where this is. And then we're just going to make sure that they are straight together right there at the bottom. Just like that. It takes a little minute for it to set. The only thing I really like about score tape better than liquid glue is it sets right away. Okay, so then we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're just going to make sure that they're both straight right here where they meet at the edge. Okay, and that's most of our box. It's just going to close like this and come down just like that. Alrighty. Okay, now we want to put our DSP on. Alrighty, so we'll put the two largest pieces on the front and the back. Okay, now those were the pieces that were 2 by 2 3/4. Now we need the pieces that are 7/8 by 2 3/4, and we're going to put that one in the inside and one on the back of the spine. Now, for these 4, we need the detail trio punch again. So for the pieces that go here and here, we just want to round one of the top corners. So that one. And these pieces are 2 by 3/4. Okay, and that'll go there. All right. The one for the top flap on the front, we have to round the 2 bottom ones. 2 bottom corners. Okay, and then the other one will just go on the top. You know what? For these, I'm going to use liquid glue because we're going to put the Velcro dots there. You could just not use any DSP in here if you wanted to, too. Okie doke. Alrighty, and then we can put our 2 Reese's peanut butter cups in there, and then it's easier to make sure that the glue, same way, is on there nicely. And I'm just going to let this sit and glue and dry a little while we do our stamping. Okay, so we need our scrap for stamping. And we also need to stamp the little guy on this piece too, because I fussy cut them out so that the line would be there nicely in the balloon. All right, so we need our image and our Tuxedo Black Ink. And I just put them on there a little bit sideways. Not sideways, but a little bit, so that the balloon is close to the top. Okay. And then we need another one for us to color. Okay. Oops, and we also need our little tag and the sentiment from Hydrangea Haven stamp set that says "For You." Okay, and that's it for stamping. Alrighty, so now we just need a couple of blends, and I'm going to start with the light basic black, and I'm going to color the edges of the penguin. And I just touch it really lightly so that it doesn't go out of the lines. And then for the beak and the feet, I use light and dark pumpkin pie. I did the beak dark and the feet light. Okay, and for the balloon, I use dark fresh Freesia on the left-hand side. And then light on the right-hand side, and I just kind of blended it out. Okay, and that's it for the coloring. Alrighty, and I already fussy cut them out, so we didn't have to do that. Okay, now I'm just going to use my glue, and I'm just going to put these on top of where they're supposed to go. Okay, and then I glued it onto the fresh Freesia. Actually, I'm going to use the, well, I'm trying to get rid of my snail. So I'm just going to attach it like that. Oh, I think I just used it up. Okay, and I'm just going to put this nicely in the middle, just like that. Okay. Alrighty, so now this is nice and dry. And what I want you to do is I'm going to figure out exactly where I want to put my label. And then I'm just going to say I don't want to put any dimensionals lower than this. So it's just above the bottom of the balloon. I'm going to get some dimensionals, and I'm going to put a bunch so that this stays nicely shaped. So I'll probably put 3 on the top, 1 in the middle, and 2 at the bottom. Okay. Alrighty, and then I'm just going to figure out where I want it. And press it down. And then the lid will just tuck in there. Alrighty. Okay, so now I use some pale papaya ribbon, and I just tied it inside the lid and made a bow at the top. Okay. And then I took a piece of white baker's twine, and I'm just going to tie the sentiment to the bow. Okay. Okay. Now we have that. All right, so now we need some of the 3/8 inch Velcro dots. I'm going to put it right down in the corner here and put the matching one on top of it. And I'm just going to make sure that the box closes nice and straight. And then just gently open it and press them down good. Okay. And now we just have our final touches to do. Okay, I took some of the in color gems and I put a few around the label with the penguin guy. Oops, I wanted the bigger one up over here, and then 2 small ones around. Okay, and then just a little bit of Wink of Stella on the balloon. That's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I would love it if you would subscribe, and if you need any Stampin' Up! Products, please buy from me. My address is at the top of the screen. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will link my blog below with all the details. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.